Welcome back to our ongoing journey that is eased and lifted by our journeying together. We gather in the aftermath of Father's Day and on the longest day, or during the longest days, depending on when you tune in, of the year. The longest day of the year is my second most favorite day of the year, after the shortest day of the year, which is when the days start getting longer again. At any rate, increasingly, we find ourselves engaging in normal or near normal activities. And it's only in the aftermath that we realize either how easily we slid back into normalcy, or how strange it was to interact, to engage, to gather without restrictions. I am currently in Chicago, where the pandemic seems to be over. People are going in and out of stores and restaurants without masks, and even some of the vendors are unmasked. It is somewhat unnerving, but I am simultaneously finding it remarkably easy to forget my own mask, or even if it is with me, to forget to put it on. Our world is dramatically changing once again as our populace craves a now romanticized normalcy that, that probably never quite existed in the first place. Nevertheless, the long, beautiful days of summer are here, and our hopes to enjoy these days are palpable and demonstrable. So let us pause to breathe in this moment, without fuss or fanfare or explanation, just to breathe in, because we are here, because we are alive, because we are grateful. And it is the first day of summer, the longest day of the year. That is a day to breathe in. So let us find our meditative postures. For me, that is always seated. Well, that's not true. It's generally seated, although I do like to stand sometimes and even like to walk sometimes. But for today, I am seated and I am unclenching my hands in my lap. We talked last time about how the clenchingness of our bodies, the tenseness of our bodies, the stress that we find in our shoulders, our necks, our jaws. Let us release our jaws, our backs, the toes of our feet. We don't even realize it. We're holding on with such ferocity. Those sources of tension come from many places, but one of them is certainly not knowing what the next moment will bring. And we kind of steel ourselves against those possibilities, whatever it is that might face us. So let us release. Let us just release. Let us untense, unclench, unhold, just release and breathe in. There is no question in my mind that this intake of breath, a full, deep, complete breath, is different from the breathing we do all day long. It is entitled to a few minutes of our attention. Because it is healing, it's fulfilling, it deserves it. Let us take that deep breath again and just even hold it for a few seconds of enjoying it. And let us enjoy the exhale as well. Such a novel concept to actually think about something we do hundreds of times a day without thinking. It is possibly even thousands of times. I could look at there. I'm sure the statistic is someplace. In these couple of moments, we release. We allow our bodies just to be. We relinquish our perceived control. Because as we know, we don't know what the next moment will bring. And so we remind ourselves these deep breaths are restorative, are healing, are grateful. I am in Chicago visiting my father, who in 3.5 months, God willing, will be 100 years old. A friend of mine asked this week, how is he doing? I thought for a moment and replied, it seems that he is winding down. She then asked an astute question. How does he feel about that? I had to stop and really think about her question. That is when I realized for the very first time that he is an exemplar of the very qualities we are trying to cultivate and develop in the practice of meditation. In fact, that was the only way I could describe his condition to her. I found myself explaining, you know, in meditation, we try to develop the ability to live only in this moment, right now, without recriminations over past events, and without anticipating, excuse me, I'm sorry, without anticipating what is ahead. He seems to inhabit the here and now. He seems untroubled by any unfinished business, and in truth, I don't think he has any. He seems not to be either looking forward to or anxious about anything in the future. When we bring up that his 100th birthday is coming soon, he adopts a kind of generic, we'll see. At the same time, while he is certainly aware that at close to 100, that at close to 100, any day could be his last. I don't believe he spends any time thinking about death. I don't think he wonders about it, or obsesses about it, or fears it. In fact, as my brother pointed out, as a person of great faith, our father's spiritual convictions and religious beliefs sustain him and have done so throughout his life. Whatever he believes about God, I am quite sure he has relinquished to God the whole question of when, where, and how he might pass from this world. He would respond, we'll see. He lives in this moment. And whatever occupies him in this moment takes all of his attention, whether that is sitting in his chair, reading a book, listening to music, watching a TCM movie, or eating a meal. He is in his now. He is content, and it seems he is at peace with his life and his circumstances. It makes me wonder, for most of us, is such equanimity available only at an advanced age? Or as an infant in the protective, loving arms of a parent? Is there something common to both of these extremes of age that is lost to us in the middle? The mystics of our tradition would tell us that yes, we do lose something in our most cerebral intellectual years, the understanding that we are embraced by an eternal love that holds us and cares for us throughout all of the vicissitudes of our lives. For some, that is enough. It is enough to know that the source of all life holds us, shelters us, and loves us. Those who can access that love in the universe seem to move through their lives with a special kind of confidence, assurance, and calm. That ahava rabbah, that great love that we speak of in our prayers, is available to us all. So let us pause for a few moments and try to imagine what it would be like to perceive that love in an ongoing way. Let us take that breath, those wonderfully big, full, deep, concentrated breaths. And as we do, we might think about these words from a poem by Rami Shapiro. He wrote them as an interpretation of the prayer Ahava Rabbah, Ahavtanu Adonai Eloheinu. With a great love, you have loved us, O Lord our God. He writes, I am loved by an unending love. Let us breathe that in and breathe it out. I am loved by an unending love. I am embraced by arms that find me, even when I am hidden from myself. I am touched by fingers that soothe me, even when I am too proud for soothing. I am counseled by voices that guide me, even when I am too embittered to hear. I am loved by an unending love. I am loved by an unending love. This sense of transcendent peace and love comes to us this week in addition from a short passage in the Torah portion entitled Balak. This is another one of those strange stories that may not be familiar to you. We are, after all, in the book of Numbers. This is part of the story in which the Israelites are about to engage in battle with the Moabites. This is as they are approaching the promised land. The king of the Moabites, Balak, is fearful about the approaching conflict. He therefore hires a sorcerer, a person by the name of Balaam, to curse the Israelites. There's an episode between Balaam and his more perceptive talking donkey, who actually sees and hears the angel of God long before Balaam has a clue that the angel is there. You may have some recollection of the talking donkey in the Bible. At any rate, the bottom line is that 3 times Balaam tries to curse the Israelites, and 3 times words of blessing come out of his mouth instead of curses. On the 3rd try, Balaam looks out over the plain where the Israelites are camped, and our Midrash tells us Balaam saw the tents of the Israelites purposefully arranged so that all of the doorways of the Israelites' household tents were angled away from each other. This was done in such a way that no 2 doorways faced each other in order to give every family their privacy. Looking down upon this scene, Balaam opened his mouth to offer the intended curse, and these words emerged: Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How lovely are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. These have become the words with which we welcome each other and begin many of our worship services. You may be familiar. Ma tov ohalecha Yaakov, or Ma tov Cantor, it's a very famous prayer and a frequently used prayer as well. How beautiful are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. So let us spend another couple of moments in the lovely space of tents arranged with sensitivity and respect, one for the other, one household for the other, one person for the other. Ma tovu ohalecha Yaakov, mishkanotecha Yisrael. How lovely, sometimes translated, how goodly are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. either the phrase, "How lovely are your tents, O Jacob," or "Your dwelling places, O Israel," or if you know the Hebrew, "Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkanotecha Yisrael." Any part of that might serve as a lovely mantra for breathing in and breathing out. Or by way of conclusion and benediction, I would share with you these words of Rami Shapiro's interpretation of our prayer, Ahava Rabbah. It is entitled, Unending Love. Any phrase of it might serve, and I will pick it up where I left off earlier in our meditation. I am loved by an unending love. I am supported by hands that uplift me, even in the midst of a fall. I am urged on by eyes that meet me, even when I am too weak for meeting. I am loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. May mine too be the arms and the fingers, the voice and the hands, the eyes and the smile that compels another to say, I am loved by an unending love. May you feel loved by an unending love during the week ahead, during these long hours of daylight that always lift my heart. May you experience also the peace and loveliness of communities gathered in respect and regard for each other. I look forward to next week. God bless.